Hey guys, Steve here at Little Bears Models. Today we got a long video for you. It'll probably be one of the longer ones, I think. I do. So I'm gonna show you how to convert these two into a factory stock bubble caprice wagon. This is the derby car one I was doing, or still doing. I ain't messed with it for a while, but the person that I'm doing this for wants this to be a daily driver, so I'm going to show you how to do it. I got what I'm going to use. I'm going to use sanding sticks, probably some files, sandpaper, the knives for scribing, probably some putty to fill in like the roof. Well, there, so you can see it. The roof holes. I might use my Bondo. I'm not sure on that yet. I haven't messed with that white putty yet, or I have, but I haven't quite got used to it. Some files for filing just getting the trim a little bit. Cutting. I know my blade's all broke. I plan to get a new one here at Nationals in August. That's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. My scriber. This is what I'll be using the most of for cutting the door lines. And then I'll probably end up having to use some clips to clip the body together. How I will be gluing it is to my extra thin and sprue goo. Sprue goo is to my extra thin with sprues in it, and you mix it together and it makes it thicker so you can fill in small gaps. That was what was used on this, because it helped helped bend that seam in a little bit, because it just heated up the plastic enough to fold it over. But this is going to be stock, so I will not be doing any creasing, folding, or nothing. So and I might use my Dremel a little bit just to help speed up the process. But what I'm going to first start with is with the bodies being whole, which I wish I would have did on that other wagon, is I'm going to sand all this trim down and make it smooth, sand all that off. As you can see, I marked it where all of this needs to be sanded down. The fins will be cut off, and I will be using a 90 Chevy truck for the taillights, tracing those out to cut them out and make it look like a factory wagon. Oh, whoops, left the chest. I will, when I get to it, get the measurements, because I'm going to use my old wagon and then show you on that. And I will tell you the measurements. I can't be... Sorry, the cat just knocked the box over. I can't... The measurements will be as close as I can get them, or as close as possible for it. I'm not the perfectionist on that. I'm not great at getting the perfect number, but I will do my best to get the correct measurements. I will probably, when I get this quarter panel off, what I'll do is I'll lay a piece of foil or tape over that so I can trace that edge onto this, or onto this, so I could cut that line first. So this video is going to take a while. I'm going to do a time lapse on the sanding. I will probably do actual video on the cutting, just so you can see how long it takes. That wagon body, with me messing around with it off and on, I think took me like 3 or 4 hours. Now, I don't plan to upload a video that's 3 or 4 hours long. That's why I'm going to do a time lapse on the sanding, getting that sanded down and cut. So let's get to it. as you guys can see, that took a while. The time lapse will make it look like it didn't take very long. So you'll see the black. I've been sanding at that for a while. That's where I went over to mark so I could see it and see it slowly fade away when sanding. That part I'm not too worried about. There's a little lip right here, but this fin will be cut off. Those are very, very faint. I might be able to get away with some filler. I will know when I put it in primer. But that's all sanded smooth. That's all sanded smooth. And one thing I learned on this other wagon, as you see, those trim lines are still there. I screwed up on those when taking them down. I should have used like a scraper. I didn't on this. On this one I did, and it is, you can't even notice they was there. So that looks a lot better than the other one. I'm gonna now get to cutting. I'm gonna cut these fins off. I'm gonna rewrite. So I will say that the Sharpie I will have to go back over with some isopropyl alcohol to clean the Sharpie off before I paint it, because the Sharpie will show through paint. For whatever reason, Sharpie does not get hidden by paint whatsoever. So I'm gonna go ahead and remark all these lines again so I can get that cut off and follow the line, follow the contour, and then I'm going to cut this trunk off. With this, I'm going to scrape down this door line, cut here, and then I'm going to remeasure the roof, because I won't cut this top door or cut the top of the door off. I will cut this along the roof line and cut the roof out, and then splice it together with the wagon roof. So I'm not going to do a time lapse on that. You guys will get to see that. I will probably cover it over with sound for a bit, but let's get going on that. Where did my jewelry stall go? I just had it. Oh, there it is. Oh, come on. No. It ate my dealership. There we go. I'm going to use my bone saw. Why is my saws being so pain? Gosh darn it. I'm done fighting. Sorry it's so quiet, guys. I will have most of this voiced over, or musiced over. But I want you to see how long this actually takes. Because it is not no 5-minute task. And these make a world of difference on getting this stuff done quickly. Because it takes a lot more away than the X-Acto knife does. Yeah, you could do it with the X-Acto knife, but it's going to take probably triple amount of time. Unless you got a way to modify that X-Acto blade to make it cut through it a lot easier. Yes, I know that's annoying. Go down the door line. I probably should have put some primer on these bodies so I could see where I'm cutting a little bit better. Sorry about that. Gosh darn it. Sorry, guys. This is probably the hardest part right here, is getting these door seams. Where it's technically supposed to be one piece, but they molded them with that little slot in them for the door. I really hope this video helps you guys on some of these. I've not ever seen really any video on anyone converting one of these. And I really, after doing this, I probably will do one, but well, I got that resin body. But I will probably build my first car, which was a 92 Oldsmobile wagon just like this, that I drove the wheels off of, literally. That was the first car I ever hit 100 miles an hour in, going downhill. I put 3 transmissions in that car. It was on me. I didn't know how. I was 17, 18, not knowing what I was doing. And I messed up the lines the first time. The second time, I think I ran it out of fluid. And then the third time, I ended up selling it because when I dropped, I forgot to put a jack under the oil pan. And when I took the transmission out the third time, I bent the valve covers and it dumped all the oil. Not dumped all the oil, but it smoked horribly, and I didn't know what I did. I couldn't figure out what I did wrong, and ended up trading it for a 90s Buick LeSabre that I drove its wheels off of, and drove that car forever until the AC pump locked up, and then traded it for a Grand Am, and then my mom derbied that Grand Am. That Grand Am was kind of a sad, because they only had a little less than 100,000 miles, but some people got it and they roller painted it black and took all the mechanisms out for the windows, all of them. No clue why, but car got me to point A to point B. It's a good little car. I should have kept it and just kept driving it instead of derbying it, but my mom derbied it. Should have fixed it after the derby though. All it did was broke the tie rod and I don't think it broke a CV axle. Yeah, because it was still driving. It just broke the tie rod. They have those cars, for whatever reason, have tie rods that are like glass. You barely bump anything and they break. Sorry about that. Apparently, luckily I caught it. My phone ran out of video space. I guess that's a thing. You can only video for a certain amount of time. Don't know how, but I don't even remember what I was talking about before that happened. But back to the scraping the roof. I'm almost through it. I got through the that would be A, B, C pillar. But I'll start with the Oldsmobile. That car is what made me love B-body GMs. I put that car through hell and back, and it still kept going. And then after that, that was another B-body. I had a Buick Roadmaster that had no rear frame rails at all. I bought this basically because it was cheap. It was a B-body. Ran and drove. I never drove it. I don't think it had a title. I don't remember. But derbied it. That was the first rear-wheel drive derby car I ever ran. I didn't know what I was doing, and what took me out was my plug wires came off the distributor, and that's what took me out. The car was wadded up, like it was. The back end was touching the back window, wadded up, and the front was a little bit moved, not much. For as rusty as the car was, the front didn't move much, and put a couple good hits out there with the front, and it still didn't move hardly. But ran it. I got 5th out of like 7, so wasn't nothing spectacular. It was a good first rear-wheel drive experience, and learning how to do some stuff, and learning to zip tie your plug wires on. And then between those, before I derbied that, I had a 92 Cadillac Fleetwood, again, B-body. And again, it was another one of those, I don't know what the person was doing, but they destroyed every electronic in the car. They, for whatever reason, kicked the radio in, they let their kids destroy the back seat. I'm getting through the plastic so it's catching. They let their kids destroy the door panels on the back, so the back windows barely worked or didn't work. I had some weird damage, on the passenger side. It was only the bottom of the door, but the bottom of the door was all crushed in. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if they left it open and ran over something or what. But drove it for probably 2 or 3 years and thought it was blown up. I was going to race it because I thought it was blown up, so I was like, screw it. I'm going to put the motor through the finals and blow it up the rest of the way. Well, as I'm taking the header or the manifolds off to put derby headers on it, the manifold was cracked in half. So I parked this car out at my grandparents' for 2 years thinking it was blown up when I could have been driving it, and the manifold was cracked in half. Was pretty upset about that one because the car was still, I still have the car, it's my race car, but if I would have known, I already stripped the car before I found out the manifold was cracked, but if it wasn't, if I would have found that out, I would have just fixed it, and I would still probably be driving the car today. And then after that, I got a 85 Caprice wagon, and that is my baby right now. Again, I put 2 transmissions in it and burnt them up. The first time was, the car had a blown up motor when I got it, and put the motor in it, had it driving, got to drive it for about a week, and blew a tire on it, and I was close enough to home, so I was like, I'll just limp it home. Well, the training lines came unhooked from how I had them, and they fell on the ground, and I didn't know it, and I ripped the training lines off and burnt the transmission up. So there goes training number 1, and now I was like, oh cool, and then ended up finding out the Roadmaster, because I saved the engine and the cradle, the front frame, out of the Roadmaster, and ended up finding out it had a 700R4 transmission. So I was like, oh cool, I could put that in it. Put that in it, and another about probably 2 weeks of driving it. I didn't have it the kickdown cable adjusted quite right, and it was sitting at home. I was going through it, and I apparently knocked the lines off or adjusted the kickdown, gave it too much pressure, and it blew the lines off, and I didn't know it, and I went to drive to my dad's and burnt the transmission up again. And that was here recently, so it's here at home. I've been out of work for a while, so I haven't had the money to get a transmission for it again. Ouch. Gosh darn it. Oops. So, I still have that car. It will not get derbied. It will not get raced. That is my baby. I put a lot of time into that car. When I got it, it had the blown motor. Whoa. What the heck? I barely had any pressure on that. I don't know why it did that. There we go. I replaced almost all the floorboards for it. They was rusted out. I got Chevy SS wheels for it, like off of the 90s pickups. Got those. I want to get 20s for it, but not, I want to get like the Riddler's 20-inch wheels. Gosh darn it. And then I want to eventually bag it and make it a very, very mild custom. Like, I want to shave the door handles off of it, put some airbags on it. I want to make it a scraper. Put a somewhat custom interior in it. Not too custom, but I got an aftermarket radio I plan to put in it. Excuse me. I hope you guys are enjoying me just kind of talking. I'm kind of enjoying it. Talking about what got my passion into these cars. There, see? That's how I plan to make them. And then he can use whatever We did talk about putting the bumper cover on the back of this, so it has a factory bumper. I think I will probably end up doing that today. I'm not sure yet. I will ask him before I do it. But, oh shoot. Gosh darn it. Why is my line messed up? That seam line is off a little bit. But I've had a couple people ask me about the wagon, ask if I was going to derby it and stuff, and I'm like, no, that car will not ever get derbied under my roof as long as I have it. Which I don't ever plan to get rid of it, because that car, basically my whole entire family has helped on it. My ex-girlfriend, my cousin, my mom, my brother, my best friend, he gave me a carburetor and intake for it. My dad, with him letting me use the tire changer and everything, and helping me with the transmission, figuring out it. So everyone in my family has literally helped with that car. So it will take me basically dying to get rid of it. Like, you hear the stories of why you letting it just go to waste and rusting. Well, that car is why. Or one of those stories, if that ever happens, is it is my whole family in it. And those are memories you won't get back in any new car. Also, I will not own new cars. I hate all the computer crap. You can't tell what it's wrong, or if it's, oh, you're speeding too fast, shutting down, and it kills. It goes into like limp mode or whatever. Newest car I'll probably ever own is a 2008. Carburetors for the win. Once I get my wagon fixed, I plan to make the intro to my videos of it running and revving up, because I got the 350 small block in it with Chevelle headers. I don't know what the actual brand is, but Chevelle headers, cherry bombs, and then open. Oh, the 350's got a high-rise intake and 4-barrel carburetor. I think my carb's that's not quadri-junk. I can't remember what my carb is, but it was free. And that's another thing with that car, is it's a B-body wagon that I paid $500 for. You can't even touch those carbs, and that in my condition for under $1,000 in my area. Everyone derbies them or donks them. So I've been looking forever for a header panel for it, which is the front piece that goes across the grill. Mine's busted a little bit, and the actual grill part is broke, and I've had no luck finding one in my area that wasn't $600 to $800. I'm not paying that for a car that I paid $500 for. It's nothing like, my car's desirable, but it's not no Camaro or 68 Charger. Like, that part is not worth that to me. But so that's how I got the passion for B-bodies. What's some cars you guys got stories on? And let me know if you guys actually like me talking about this stuff instead of doing the music over it. I feel like it gives you, like, I would rather hear this than no one saying anything, or I like the music sometimes, but when you're actually working on something, I feel like it gives you more of a in depth with the person, I guess is the word. I'm not sure. I might be just talking out of my butt. But I'm probably one of the only few of my generation that don't like new stuff. Would rather it all be old school. No AI, no computer crap in the car, no electronics, except for like a radio. I don't even have AC in the wagon. The minivan did have AC, but it went out when the summer hit. Gosh darn it! What? Yeah. Something's catching. Now you can go through back with this and hit it with the knife, because sometimes that just... Oh, okay, that's why I was catching. I was getting through the plastic. So you can use the knife to go through and clear the edges. I've been doing that on a few things. Is you just use the knife and it'll get the little debris and everything in it out for you. Like I said, this is going to be a long video, because I still got to cut the wagon in half and splice them together. Now I could just cut this off and say throw it together, but the customer wants to make the back end and make a 2-door. He's going to use the rest of that, and he's going to try to combine the two to make a 2-door, a little coupe custom, which I plan to do with the leftovers of that one too, or do a Mad Max build and do like a little half caprice truck thing. Now, like I said, I might have already said this, sorry if I have, but this is very, very time consuming. That didn't take as long as I was expecting. That only took about 15 minutes, but this part is what takes forever. And then sanding all the body in and everything, which once I put the putty on it to fill it in, I will probably have to take a break from the video and let that putty cure overnight. So I will jump back and it'll be a new day. Probably. I don't know yet. Depends on what. Well, yeah, I will have to do that either way so the putty dries. I've learned that lesson. Don't sand the putty when it's not dry yet, because it just rolls away. Gosh darn it. Don't do what I'm doing right here, cutting towards myself. Or do what I did the other night and drop the knife and stab into your big toe. That really hurt. I would like to get some of the new photo etch blades that they got out. That is a photo etch saw blade for your X-Acto knives. I'm going to try to get some stuff like that here at Nationals. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera, guys. But I'm hoping I can. I will have at Nationals, if you guys are needing military model kit parts. The Nationals is August 5th through 8th in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Grand Wayne Convention Center. It is a little pricey to get it and stuff, but it is worth it. There will be, I was told Tamaya is setting up at it, which don't hold me to that because I have not researched it any yet to see who's all being there. But I was told Tamaya is going to be there. Round 2 is supposed to be there. Ravel is supposed to be there at this show. So it's definitely worth it just to see them set up. Oh, sorry. What I was saying is I will be set up with a bunch of military model kit part lot. Like they're all missing something or missing a part here or there. They will be priced cheap. They're going to be priced $5 a piece. My knife. So I have everything from tanks to trucks to airplanes to boats. Basically all military kits. I might have a car kit here or there, but I don't plan to get rid of that stuff yet. But everything has either been started, missing a part, or missing parts, or is unknown. I am not guaranteeing anything. That is why it's all $5 a piece. I will have a box of parts that's military parts, that's airplane wings and stuff that is just miscellaneous and I have no clue what they are. Again, those will be priced at a different price because they are huge boxes completely full of military parts. I'll probably put those for $25-$30. They're perfect. The boxes, this stuff is perfect for post-apocalyptic builders, kit bashers, futuristic builds. Like I'll probably keep I might keep 1 or 2 airplanes for the jets to build a futuristic build at some point, or a Mad Max. Like the possibilities are endless with this stuff. I want my garage back. I probably have 150 parts kits. So I want my garage back so I can get back to building my 31 Chevy. Gosh darn it. Oh, and I will be videoing that show. I'm not sure how I'm going to video it yet, because apparently you can only video for a certain amount of time. And this show is probably going to be a show that takes 3 or 4 hours to video. So, because it has people from all over the world at it. And I'm not sure how to go about that. I might borrow my mom's camera. Maybe. I don't know. Because of it being so much. And it'll... Got it. See? There we go. Borrowing her camera will make it a lot easier. And then there's that. And then I will see the quarter. You can see the wheel wells line up pretty well. Obviously that's the driver's side on the passenger side. But use that to trace it. I'm not gonna, when I first cut this off, I'm just gonna cut right here. And then I gotta remember how I cut the roof. Looks like I cut the roof right here, which this is where I'm going to do measurements the best I can, because the roof was pretty square. I didn't cut this part square, but that I'm going to try my best to get the square. I got my tape out so I can make sure it's square, but I'll measure the little tab on the B-pillar. See right here where it's sticking out. So, alright. And what I usually try to use for measurements is, gosh darn it, I'm knocking everything down, is my caliber. It's still coated in paint from when the paint can exploded, but I use this. And okay, so on. So at each pillar, it'll be, let's just make it, gosh darn it, so temperamental. Let's make it 5.5, so it's, nope, I'm going the wrong way. There. Let's see if that's about right. So I'm gonna make, sorry guys if I'm not on camera, I'm trying to see. So I'm gonna make this roof here at 5.5. So I'm gonna make this 5.5. I'm gonna follow it up and make that the mark where I need to cut. I use a Sharpie usually. On resin kits you can use a pencil. I wish this thing locked, but it doesn't. Right here. And like I said, I'm going to mark it with tape, or wrap a piece of tape over it so I make sure the line is cut straight this time, not the jagged crap that I did there. I will do this again, as make a piece of or glue a piece of plastic on the bottom so I can have something to attach and hold to, and kind of do that on the sides too once I get that cut down. But alright, and then now I gotta measure the wagon roof and where to cut it. I guess well, that ain't gonna really work. Yeah, it will. Right there. So this might not be 100% accurate, but I'm doing from the inside line to the rear of the roof, which I'm going to mark it to the back window. That looks to be, that sounds about right, 66 millimeters, 66.1, 66. That little millimeter is not going to make much of a difference. See, it's back to 66 again. Temperamental. So mark here to that back window. And again, I will use tape to mark it where I need to cut. 66. Oh, I moved. Whoops. There we go. Make sure that still lines up. Yep. And then I need to make another mark here. Gosh darn it. Just to help have the tape line. Now again, these measurements aren't perfect. They're going to be close enough to make it as accurate as I can. I'm not a rocket scientist on that stuff, and you're working with plastic. Like, it don't have to be perfect, as long as you can make it close enough to represent what you're working on. Like MK Model Works says, practice over perfection. Now where's my masking tape? There it is. With doing this stuff, it gets messy. This is a messy task, very messy. But this is usually the tape I use for this stuff. Just Tamiya for masking tape. Works pretty good. Relatively cheap. I don't have luck with blue masking tape at all with holding, taping, or anything. It always messes up. But this, I'm going to use, well, I can't use I was going to use the Dremel, but I can't because the Dremel on doing stuff like this, I'm afraid it will take too much material away and it won't be straight, or not straight, but not right. This, I will use this saw again for cutting it, and then I probably I might use the Dremel on cutting this way. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I keep saying excuse me. I got the burps. Hopefully I'm not losing you guys or boring you. I know this is a pretty tedious task, so if you want to see how it's done, you got to watch. There we go. Made that tape a little extra long on accident. Oh well. There we go. Start scraping. Now again, I'm cutting the top. Sorry, I'm not in camera. Cutting this on the door seam so I can keep the top of the door, so I can graft it into the roof. And the way I do this, I actually don't have to trim any on the, I have to trim just a little tiny section. Oh, I cut the top of the door off on this. Huh, I did not realize that. So I guess I am cutting the top of the door off, but I will cut, because that is right. I did have to trim a little bit of the roof over here to get it in, so I will cut this here and then cut it in. And okay, so I still got to do that, and then okay. Sorry guys, that part I didn't remember doing. I am going to go ahead and still do this so I can trim it off of the top edge of the door, just so it's easier for me. Might not be the correct way, but sorry guys, off the camera again. Another reason I am staying on the camera and talking is I had a few people ask if I could slow down on builds so they could actually see what I was doing. So that is part of why I'm still talking to you guys and not doing time lapse. The sanding, I know I'm not even going to try to talk during that because it's so noisy. These things are pretty nice if they're not broken up. They make some new ones that it's got 3 holes so you can move the blade up, which I really wish this one I was able to, because there's a few things I couldn't on a different project I couldn't get into because it kept hitting the screw. Like the plastic was so thick I couldn't get to it. That same military lot I was talking about, this came in it. It's a very nice tool, and not a cheap tool, from my understanding. See, it's already through. That was quick and easy. Gosh darn it. I will probably take a break after I get this roof cut up for a minute, so I could go make dinner. 'Cause I'm getting hungry. And I've already been at this for almost an hour, I think. If not longer. Also, I do not take full credit of coming up with this idea. A good friend is the one that gave me how to do this. I'm not sure if he will want to be called out on it, but he is the one that has taught me how to do this all. So, but alright, those are cut. It's going to get noisy because I'm going to use the Dremel. I think I am just going to use the Dremel, but I'm going to cut into the tape on this because I'm over it. I will be just cutting these right here, cutting that right there, so he could still, if he wants to, use that pillar to make a half roof on it. So, it's getting noisy. Oops. Ow. Remember, when doing stuff like this, wear eye protection. I have glasses on, but sometimes that it does not suffice enough. But there's that. Whoops. Just about broke the pillar. There we go. Sorry for not staying in camera on that. So, take this off. Yay, straighter than it was the last time. Now, clean the debris off. Yes, these quarter panels aren't exact yet. I gotta cut them down still, but I'm going to go make me dinner. I will be back in 1 minute. Or, well, it'll be a minute for you guys, but there we go. You'll see. Alright, guys. I'll be back in a bit.